So you might be really into edge tools, and you may be asking yourself, what would it look like? What type of tool would look like something where a hatchet, a machete, and a meat cleaver all came together and made a baby? Well, it'd probably look something like the Work Tuff Gear Nomad, designed by Zeke. Is a guy who I've known for a while through the YouTube channel, has designed a few knives that have been produced by Dark Timber, so he's made a few over the years, and recently reached out to Work Tuff Gear with this design. Work Tuff Gear has produced this design for him, and guys, I gotta say, this is possibly one of the most interesting but well-balanced large cutting tools I've ever seen. And so I've had a ton of fun, several months of use with this, not only from the backyard just preparing campfires and hanging out and clearing brush, but also on car camping trips as well as in the backcountry. And guys, I gotta tell you that this, for some of you, may be like a one-stop shop because of the balance, but also the attention to detail that this Nomad offers to you. So let's run down a few of the basic specs here for you. Now, this is made in Taiwan, again, by Work Tuff Gear. We reviewed several of their designs, and the level of quality and fit and finish that is coming out of the factory there, the shop, is phenomenal. I mean, it is borderline mid-tech on what comes out of the Work Tuff Gear facility. And I've loved every design that I have gotten my hands on to date, and just really connect with the fit and finish and quality and just attention to detail that's being produced. So these are produced in limited runs, basically. There'll be some available, then they'll be out of stock, and they'll produce some more, and then they'll be available again. So just because you maybe can't find this, if you're looking for it, doesn't mean that there won't be another batch being produced. So with this, we're looking at 10 inches from handle to tip. You're looking at a 1/4 inch thick monster blade with a very high saber grind. There's about a 1/4 of an inch on the back here that's a saber that goes into a flat, basically. Convex edge, does have a little buoy clip swedge up there that's very not thin or anything like that, but just gives a little bit of a point there. 9 inches of cutting edge. You're looking at a G10 waffled handle right there. Super contoured. If you're familiar with Dark Timber knives, very similar to a lot of the knives that Peter Kohler makes. And I'm sure that's with Zeke, working with Peter over other designs and things like that. Very ergonomic, very comfortable. And then it's going to weigh in a monstering 28 ounces for the knife itself, and 33.5 with the Kydex sheath that's going to come with. So, I mean, you're looking at a monster blade made out of SK85 steel, differentially heat treated 56 to 58. Now, I've had a lot of experience with that steel. It is a high carbon. I would put it on par because of the differential heat treat and just attention to detail, the grinding with the convex edge of basically almost any US 1095 that you can find. It's basically Japanese, close to, they say it's like 1085, so very, very close to 1095. And for the shock that you're gonna put this knife through, it's holding up super well without any edge rolling or chipping out or anything like that. Now, what's awesome on top of all of that is the balance point is right over the finger choil. I'm gonna try and do this here for us. There you go. Right there over the finger choil. And that's really what, with a weight that this knife has going for it, it's obviously a monster chopper, monster batoner because of the thickness. I mean, one swing and you're going to be able to take out, 2-inch branches on most wood that you will encounter with a single hack. I mean, it is a beast to chop with, because of the weight, because of the overall blade shape. You got this really nice sweet spot up here. Very cool acid wash, by the way. Lots of cool washes that they have there that this comes with, and a couple different designs. But so the chopping and batoning is just like phenomenal. And that's kind of like duh, it's like you would expect all of that. But what's really impressive is that with that mirrored convex edge, hopefully I can show this to you guys here. the finer work is super impressive, and with that very deep, large finger choil, it's very ergonomic in the hand, feels really good, and you can work with this and make some wicked curls to start a fire. A lot of big blades like this, sometimes the edge geometry, sure, it's great for batoning and chopping, but it just doesn't work when you're talking about finer work. But you can absolutely get finer work done with this tool. So that's really nice to see, because you don't always get that with bigger 1/4 inch thick blades like this. So you'll have a dream carving with it. Now, it's not a Mora or anything like that, because it'll just fatigue your hand because of the weight and the balance, you know, you're working with and stuff. But for this size and weight class of knife, it is on the short list of carving capabilities compared to a lot of other stuff out there. We'll have a 90-degree spine, throw sparks easily with this guy. You do have a front lanyard hole, so if you want to run some different types of lanyards, you can absolutely do that. The other thing to note as well is just this really well contoured handle here. Feels so good in the hand. Great huge guard. I have large size hands. You can just see there. Just fits so well in the hand. You have a couple different grip points, so you can chop here, or you can really back up on the design. Very full, contoured. That waffle is really well done as well. Just giving you a good grip without it feeling, you know, painful or, you know, causing issues, which is really good. And all of the angles have been radiused very, very well. So that is a bonus. Also, the one little sticking point, you know, because no design is absolutely perfect, that I have is the exposed lanyard hole. I thought it might create a huge hot spot. It actually doesn't create a hot spot, but over time, as your hand starts to slip, but my hand will stay in the locked position for quite a long period of time. Once your hand does start to rest up on that metal exposed kind of bird beak, it does cause some shock, and then you either have to kind of do a finger, you know, pass and then get your pinky behind it, or reset your hand. But I would say that it is takes a very long time to need to reset or come up against that exposed bird beak there. If it was covered with the G10 handle, I think that would have helped just with overall contouring. But I was expecting it to be like an immediate problem, and it was not at all. And I could chop for an extended period of time and get through several branches or smaller trees before having to reset my hand and even come up in contact with that piece of metal. So just wanted to give you that data point, because that was something that I noticed what could have been a concern, and to me, I would say it's not really an issue and would have been perfect if it just, you know, contoured on the G10. So with that, guys, I think they do make some other little features. You know, you could get it with a micarta handle scales aftermarket if that's something that you wanted. I think they produce those sometimes. You're gonna get an epic Kydex sheath that works super well. You line that bad boy up. It's gonna come with a blade tech lock. I think I got one of the earlier versions that has the nylon webbing. I prefer the nylon webbing, by the way, over the blade tech lock. So the last point as well is the price. This is going to come in at about $230 over on the WorkTuff website, as well as on Amazon when they are available on Amazon, which they do when the batches are available. So at $230, you're paying way more for the design than necessarily all the materials. I mean, I can get a USA made, you know, SE Hungalis that's going to be about the same size, won't be as thick. I would argue in many ways this outperforms it, both in chopping because of the weight, but also because of that deep finger choil. I actually prefer to make feather sticks with this over the SE Hungalis in that regard, just because of the better ergonomics up front. But, you know, USA made versus overseas produced, even though it's very, very good Taiwanese production. And lifetime warranty. WorkTuff has a warranty, but it's not lifetime at this point in time. Maybe in the future they'll offer something like that. So when you're talking about price, this is not necessarily a high value product. You're paying way more for the designing and the capability than you are for material. So take that into consideration as you are looking at this design. Is this the best choice? For a lot of you, you're gonna be like, dude, that is what I've been looking for. For some of you, you're like, that's just so intense that I think I need to stick with something a little bit more manageable in my life. So for some of you, it'll be absolutely something that you want to jump on. For others, I understand it's gonna be a little bit either overkill, or just the price to what you are looking for just doesn't quite match up for you. But for me, guys, I think it's just like a mind-blowing design that when you look at it on paper seems like overkill, but in every way has a finesse to it that is very hard to find in larger knives. So I think Zeke did a phenomenal job with the overall designing, and then Work Tuff did an awesome job creating that design and making it a reality. So guys, I want to hear your feedback and comments. What do you think about the Nomad? Is that something that you're looking for? Have you had experience with it? Are you an owner? What do you like? Maybe don't. And what is your experience with Work Tuff in general? I always love hearing the comments, hearing your guys' feedback, and having the conversation. We'll have links for you guys below if you are interested in this design, as well as other Work Tuff designs. Are coming out with new stuff all the time. I'm working on a few other of their designs right now that I've picked up, and really, really sweet stuff. And I look forward to seeing what new designs come down the line. I even know Zeke's working on a few other more compact models of this as well, and some different designing that the Work Tuff will be producing. So guys, thank you so much for coming over today, checking out the channel. I invite you to subscribe, check out the other video popping up, and always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.